Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the International Webinar Series on Holistic Health, Well-being and Sustainable Development 2022, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2030 as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute and Center for Art, Sciences and Well-being. Before we start our session, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue to today's session. Registration form has been shared in the chat box. Those who have not yet registered can register. It is mandatory for receiving certificate. And kindly fill up all the details in the registration form and feedback form. Invalid, incomplete forms are not considered. While filling up the feedback form, registration forms, kindly ensure that all the details are valid and the complete form is filled. So with this, we will move on. We welcome you all once again to the International Webinar Series. Today is an important day, International Day for the Total Elimination for Nuclear Weapons. Yeah, today is International Day of Total Elimination of Nuclear Weapons, 26 September. Achieving global nuclear disarmament is one of the oldest goals of the United Nations. It was subject to General Assembly's first resolution in 1946, which established the Atomic Energy Commission, which was dissolved in 1952, with a mandate to make up specific proposals for the control of nuclear energy and the elimination of atomic weapons and all other major weapons adaptable to mass destruction. The United Nations have been at the forefront of many major diplomatic efforts to advance nuclear disarmament. Since in 1959, the General Assembly endorsed the objective of general and complete disarmament. In 1978, the first session of the General Assembly devoted to disarmament further recognized the nuclear disarmament should be priority objective in the field of disarmament. Every United, every United Nations Secretary General has actively promoted this goal. Yet, today, around 12,705 nuclear weapons remain still active. Countries possessing such nuclear weapons have well-funded long-term plans to modernize their nuclear arsenals. More than half of the world's population still lives in the countries that either have such weapons or the members of nuclear alliances. While the number of deployed nuclear weapons have appreciably declined since the height of the Cold War, not one nuclear weapon has been physically destroyed pursuant to a treaty. In addition, no nuclear disarmament negotiations are currently underway. Meanwhile, the doctrine of nuclear deterrence persists as an element in the security policies of all possessor states and many of their allies. The International Arms Control Framework that contributed to the international security since the Cold War acted as a brake on the use of nuclear weapons and advanced nuclear disarmament has come under licensing strain. On 2nd August 2019, the United Nations states the United States withdrawal spelled the end of intermediate range nuclear forces treaty through which the United States and the Russian Federation has previously committed to eliminating an entire class of nuclear missiles. On the other hand, the extension of treaty between the United States of America and the Russian Federation on measures for the further reduction and limitation of strategic offensive arms New START until February 2026 has been welcomed by the member states and the Secretary General of the United Nations. This extension provides an opportunity for the possessors of the two largest nuclear arsenals to agree to further arms control measures. Frustration has been growing among member states regarding what is perceived as the slow pace of nuclear disarmament. This frustration has put into sharper focus with growing concerns about the catastrophic humanitarian consequences of the use of even a single nuclear weapon, let alone a regional or a global nuclear war. The General Assembly commemorates 26 September as the International Day for the Elimination of Nuclear Weapons. This day provides an occasion for the world community to reaffirm its commitment to the global nuclear disarmament as a priority. It provides an opportunity to educate the public and their leaders about the real benefits of eliminating such weapons and the social, economical costs of perpetuating them. Commemorating this day at the United Nations is especially important given its universal membership and its long experience in grappling with nuclear disarmament issues. It is the right place to address one of the humanity's greatest challenges achieving the peace and security of a world without nuclear weapons. In accordance with General Assembly Resolution 68 by 32 and subsequent resolutions, the purpose of the International Day is to further the objective of total elimination of nuclear weapons through enhancing public awareness and education about the threat posed to humanity by nuclear weapons and the necessity for their total elimination. In so doing, it is hoped that these activities will help to mobilize new international efforts towards achieving the common goal of a nuclear weapon-free world. So when we look at the background of this International Day in December 2013, in its resolution 68 by 32 as a follow-up to the high-level meeting of the General Assembly of Nuclear Disarmament, held on 26 September 2013 in New York. This was the latest in series of efforts by the General Assembly to raise public awareness and to seek deeper engagement on nuclear disarmament matters. In 2009, the General Assembly has declared 29th August as the International Day Against Nuclear Tests through Resolution 64 by 35. We have commemorated in August International Day Against Nuclear Tests, and also we had also commemorated this international, this Nagasaki Day, Hiroshima Day, where US has dropped this nuclear weapon and created mass destruction and great loss of life. In Resolution 68 by 32, the General Assembly called the urgent commencement of negotiations in the Conference on Disarmament of a comprehensive convention on nuclear weapons to prohibit their possession, development, production, acquisition, testing, stockpiling, transfer, and use or threat of use, and to provide their destruction. In 2014, in its resolution 69 by 58, the General Assembly further expressed its desire to commemorate the day and requested the Secretary General and the President of the General Assembly to make all the arrangements necessary to commemorate and promote it, including by convening an annual meeting of the Assembly to commemorate the International Day and to provide a platform for the promotion of these activities. The General Assembly repeated this request and call in the subsequent years in its resolution 70 by 34, 71 by 71, 72 by 251, 73 by 40, 74 by 54, 75 by 45, and 76 by 36. These are the resolutions. And the International Day for the total elimination of nuclear weapons has been observed annually since 2014. Pursuant to the resolutions of the General Assembly, member states, the United Nations system, and civil society, including non-governmental organizations, academia, parliamentarians, the mass media, and individuals are encouraged to commemorate and promote the International Day through enhancing public awareness and education about the threat posed to the humanity by nuclear weapons and necessity for their total elimination. To observe the International Day, the United Nations is supporting events both in New York and Geneva. United Nations information centers around the world are encouraged to raise awareness to the observance of International Day for the total elimination of nuclear weapons. We can see notable events. In 1945, the two atomic bombs destroyed the cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki and are estimated to have killed a total of 213 people immediately. That was, the bombs were dropped by US on Hiroshima and Nagasaki cities, and that has put an end to the World War. In 1946, in its very first resolution, the General Assembly identified nuclear disarmament as a leading global goal of the United Nations. In 1959, the General Assembly included nuclear disarmament as a part of more comprehensive goal of general and complete disarmament under effective international control through resolution 1378, and it is the first General Assembly resolution ever to be sponsored by the entire membership of the United Nations. That is, every country has, sponsored it. And 1963, the treaty banning nuclear weapon tests in the atmosphere, in the outer space, and underwater, are also known as Partial Test Ban Treaty, was opened for signature. Years-long discussed between the Soviet Union and the United Kingdom and the United States had been given a renewed sense of urgency by the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962. In 1967, the nuclear arms race and the 1962 Cuban Missile Crisis prompted Latin American governments to negotiate the treaty for the prohibition of nuclear weapons in Latin America and the Caribbean, Treaty of Tlatelolco, which was established in the first nuclear weapons-free zone in a highly populated area. In 1978, the General Assembly held its first session devoted to disarmament. In the final document, member states affirmed that their common ultimate objective is general and complete disarmament under effective international control, and the effective measures of nuclear disarmament and the prevention of nuclear war as the highest priority. In 1985, the South Pacific became the second nuclear weapon-free zone, Treaty of Rarotonga. In 1991, South Africa voluntarily renounced its nuclear weapons program. In 1992, by the Lisbon Protocol to the Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty, known as START-1, Belarus, Kazakhstan, and Ukraine voluntarily renounced nuclear weapons in their possession following the dissolution of the Soviet Union. In 1995, at the 1995 NPT Review and Extension Conference, states parties adopted without a vote the decisions on the infinite extension of the treaty, strengthening the review process for the treaty, and principles and objectives on nuclear non-proliferation and disarmament, as well as resolution of the Middle East. Southern East Asia became the third nuclear weapon-free zone with the Bangkok Treaty. In 1996, Africa became the fourth nuclear weapon-free zone, Pelindaba Treaty. At the request of the General Assembly, the International Court of Justice provided an advisory opinion on the legality of the threat or use of nuclear weapons. So the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty opened for signature. In 2000, at the 2000 NPT Review Conference, states parties adopted 13 practical steps for systematic and progressive efforts for the nuclear disarmament. In 2006, Central Asia became the fifth nuclear weapon-free zone, Treaty on Nuclear Weapon-Free Zone in Central Asia. In 2008, United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon announced his first 5-point plan towards disarmament. In 2010, the NPT Review Conference, state parties adopted a 64-point action plan across all three pillars of the treaty: nuclear disarmament, nuclear non-proliferation, and the peaceful uses of nuclear energy, and practical steps to implement the 1995 resolution on the Middle East. In 2013, the General Assembly held its first ever high-level meeting on nuclear disarmament. The General Assembly, through its resolution 68/32, declared that 26 September will be the International Day for the total elimination of nuclear weapons. The General Assembly, pursuant to C Resolution 67/56, convenes an open-ended working group on taking forward the multilateral nuclear disarmament negotiations. In 2016, the General Assembly, pursuant to the Resolution 70 by 33, convenes a second opened working group on taking forward multilateral nuclear disarmament negotiations. In 2017, on 7th July, the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons is adopted. It is the first multilateral legally binding instrument for the nuclear disarmament to have been negotiated in 20 years. The Secretary General launched Securing Our Common Future, an agenda for disarmament. The agenda addresses the elimination of nuclear weapons in the framework of disarmament to save humanity. In 2020, 50th anniversary of the entry into force of the Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons, it is in short known as NPT. In 2021, entry into the force of Treaty of the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons on 22nd January. On 3rd February, the parties agreed to extend the treaty between United States of America and the Russian Federation on measures for further reduction and limitation of strategic offensive arms, that is in short known as New START, until 4th February 2026. In 2022, at the first meeting of the states parties to the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons, in short known as TPNW, states parties adopted the Vienna Declaration, reaffirming their determination to realize the complete elimination of nuclear weapons. In addition, the Vienna Action Plan was adopted to facilitate effective and timely implementation of the treaty and its objectives and goals. The 10th Review Conference of the Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons, NPT, took place at the United Nations headquarters from 1st to 26th August 2022. So as the Secretary General recognized in his disarmament agenda, Securing Our Common Future, launched on 24th May 2018, the norm against testing is an example of a measure that serves both disarmament and non-proliferation objectives. By constraining the development of advanced new types of nuclear weapons, the CTBT puts a brake on the arms race. It also serves as a powerful normative barrier against potential states that might seek to develop, manufacture, and subsequently acquire nuclear weapons in violation of their non-proliferation commitments. So this is a global issue, and the UN and nuclear age were born almost simultaneously. The horror of the Second World War, culminating the nuclear blasts of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, brought home the need to address nuclear issue. By its first resolution, the General Assembly established the UN Atomic Energy Commission to deal with the problems raised by the discovery of atomic energy, and a landmark address by United States President Dwight D. Eisenhower in 1953, Atoms for Peace, led to the establishment of in 1957 of the International Atomic Energy Agency, in short IAEA. So with this, we shall end the commemoration, and that's why we see whenever we use the science for destruction, and the kind of human aid that is required is lot less when compared to these kind of investment or finance kinds of funds that goes into. So let's quickly look into a short video by United Nations.
Les dépenses militaires s'accroissent et la course aux armements s'accélère au niveau mondial, notamment dans les régions les plus dangereuses.
We can see the humanitarian aid, how much is required, but how much is spent on the nuclear testing and position. It is 80 times more. That means the world, we just need, if we need just 1 crore, 80 crores are spent. If we spend at least one part of it, then world has been a very better place. This is what we highly misuse the energy resources, and not only
Disarmament
that.
concerns every country and all weapons, from hand grenades to hydrogen bombs. Deadly weapons put us all at risk, and leaders have a responsibility to minimize that risk. I appeal to all states, including non-parties, to adhere to the non-proliferation and disarmament obligations and commitments under the NPT. All states, nuclear and non-nuclear, must work together to bridge the gulf that divides them. As armed conflict has moved from open fields into cities, explosive weapons are particularly deadly for civilians. And these weapons also have a devastating effect on hospitals, schools, and water and electricity supplies. If there is a major outbreak of armed conflict in our world, and we all hope there is not, I'm sure that it would be preceded by a massive cyber attack. And I'm prepared to make available my good offices to prevent conflict resulting from acts committed in cyberspace. And social media offers unprecedented tools to connect, to reach across borders, and join with others around the world through campaigns, non-governmental organizations, and online communities. The United Nations would like to work with you to help you acquire the knowledge and skills to amplify your voices and lead the change we need. Disarmament prevents and ends violence. Disarmament supports sustainable development. And disarmament is true to our values and principles.
So with this, we shall conclude the commemoration of International Day, Total Elimination of Nuclear Weapons. Then we'll move on to other commemorations for the day. Today is also Human Resources Professional Day, September 26th. Human Resource Professional Day in US is celebrated every September 26th and is designated to pay tribute to those working in HR departments everywhere. This day also aims to raise awareness about the role of job. Sharing information about HR professionals is important so that we know what it is like to be a part of the community. If you are interested in working in human resources, you should be able to find a lot of great information online during this celebration, or even you can talk to a human resource person or organize an event online or offline, like this webinar, seminar, conferences, where you can attend, participate, and share information. Governor General Sir Patrick Allen referenced Human Resource Professional Day, HR Professional Day, back in October of 2013. He created this day to recognize and celebrate human resource professionals because they play an integral role in ensuring the success of organizations by nurturing and developing human capital. HR professionals carry out multiple tasks in the organization. They have to follow important legislation, help co-workers get paid, and get to plan those fun company parties after a long year's work. It was not until Governor General Hans Stedman, Alvin Rideout Fuller declared it an official holiday in Jamaica in 2018 that HR Professional Day came into the spotlight. HR Professional Day is an opportunity to learn about what HR professional or HR does to make an employee's lives better and give people to the opportunity to join the HR industry. HR Professional Day is all about thanking and appreciating the hard work of HR staff since they handle the most difficult situations, such as staff negotiations, corporate liaising, and legislation interpretation. So the history of HR or human resource management begins in 19th century. HR professionals are also called as welfare secretaries, who are women, involved with the protection of women and girls. In 1920, labor manager or employer manager titles under jobs and roles were introduced to the engineering industry and other industries. The term personal management was introduced in 1945 through employment management, and welfare work became integrated under the broad term personal management. In 2018, Human Resources Professional Day was declared by Governor General Hans Stedman Alvin Rideout Fuller. So professional and organizations all over the world celebrate the second annual International Human Resources Day on May 20. And HR is a very rewarding career field poised for growth. If you have a strong grasp of the concepts and enjoy some history and numbers, this is fairly easy to navigate. On this day, we can commemorate by hosting many lectures and to raise awareness about the importance of the profession, practice, and people interested in gaining insight into HR job market can attend these lectures or online webinars, seminars, and so on. And we can inspire about by spreading a word about this role and opportunities available in the HR community. And this may inspire people and aspirants to enroll in an HR course. And a lot of people are shocked when they discover how much HR professionals take on. This will help you to appreciate the human resource department. And various tasks that HR professionals carry out are recruiting candidates. HR understands the organization needs and makes sure that those needs are met when recruiting for new positions. And they also arrange for interviews and is in charge of hiring the right employees for the vacant job by arranging interviews. And they also process payroll. They calculate taxes and expenses that need to be reimbursed, employee working hours and raises and bonuses. They also conduct disciplinary actions. HR needs to develop a strong enough relationship with managers and employees to maintain a healthy working relationship. And they also maintain employee records, which is requirement mandated by the statute or legal this thing. Why this human resource professional day is important? As we have already discussed, they carry out many tasks. They are in charge of managing relationships with human capital, which are most valuable assets of any business. And the main purpose of HR departments is to help employees thrive. Protecting employees' well-being is of utmost importance. If an HR department never interacts with the employees, it isn't going to do a good job. HR professionals must know what is happening within their employees. So happy HR Day once again, HR Professionals Day. With this, we end the commemoration. Today is also Family Community Day in Australia. So Family and Community Day is a public holiday celebrated in parts of Australia in the Australian Capital Territory, ACT region. And this day falls on first Monday of September or October school holidays, except when the first Monday of the school holidays falls on the Labor Day, that is public holiday, in which case the holiday is moved to the following Monday of the school holidays. So unlike many public holidays, Family and Community doesn't celebrate the memorial of any historical figure or any religious event. Rather, it's simply a day for people to take a break from their hectic working lives and spend some quality time with their family or friends as spring begins. Most businesses are closed on this holiday. The first Family and Community Day was celebrated in 2007. For 2 years until 2009, the public holiday was held on the first Tuesday of November, on the same day as Melbourne Cup, a horse racing event. However, there were challenges with the Tuesday holiday, as many people took a 4-day weekend and took the Monday off as well. So taking entire week off. So this resulted in revenue losses for many businesses, especially caterers and confectioners. So since 2010, the holiday has been moved to first Monday in September, October school holidays, except but when it coincided with Labor Day holiday, in which the case is shifted to the following Monday. For Australians in the ACT, Family and Community Day is a day to relax and spend time together at the home, playing indoor games or just watching TV. For some, it's just the perfect day for outdoor activities or whatever fun activity spring allows. So we have, across the world, National Day Family. We have National Family Day, which is celebrated on September 26th in United States. And Family Day was designated as a day to celebrate the special people in our lives, our families. While you engage or manage or in a lot of activities that day, it is always best to spend time with family by going on family trips, playing outdoor games or indoor games, and hosting house parties, or going for a walk, going for a sightseeing, or cook and spend time together at home. And there are recent trends in the family also, like more and more nuclear families or single parent families. In Australia, the average family size decreased from 3.6 in 1961 to 2.6 people per household in 2016. And dancers and choreographers are said to have the highest diverse rate in the US with 43.05%. So making them single or single parents. Longest running family show, The Simpsons, America's longest running cartoon show, debuted in 1989 and have won 32 Emmy Awards. From a Latin word, the word family is derived from Latin familias, meaning a servant. And intermarriage has also become increasingly common. In 1980, just 7% of all marriages in the US were between spouses of a different race or ethnicity, while in 2010, the share has doubled by 15% of all new marriages in the US. Hispanics, 26%, and Asians, 28%, were almost likely to marry out, compared with 9% of the white and 17% of the black people. So why we need to have a family and community day? It strengthens the family bond for parents with hectic work schedules. This day offers a great opportunity to hang out with your kids, spouse, parents, and other relatives, and you'll be amazed at how much you missed spending time with your family. And it's a great opportunity to take rest and do away from work with work for 24 hours. Shut down your laptop and get some good rest without feeling guilty about it. And everyone loves a day off, and even better, a day off to spend with the ones who matter to you. So there's no limit to the fun games and other recreational activities you can play today. So with this, we shall conclude commemoration. And today is also European Day, a European Languages Day, which is internationally celebrated. The European Day of Languages is celebrated annually. The first goal of observing this day is to inform all the public about the benefits of learning a new language and diversifying the languages learned to increase intercultural understanding and plurilingualism. Secondly, the day aims to promote the rich and diverse linguistic culture of Europe, which should be first fostered and preserved. Finally, the European Day of Languages hopes to encourage lifelong learning of languages in and out school, and this day is celebrated by 47 member states. So in 2001, the European Year of Languages, it was organized by the Council of Europe and European Union, and was very successful, involving millions of people across 45 participating countries. It created activities that focused on and celebrated European linguistic diversity and promoted language learning. So this is also a perfect way to honor diversity of European languages, to learn a new European language. And you can also do by taking a class online or attending a language summer camp. And a few interesting facts about languages. Artists create their own languages. There have been more than 200 fake languages created for the literature and film. The most spoken language in Europe is Russian, and thousands of endangered languages. According to UNESCO, an estimated 6,000 plus languages spoken in 43% of the world are endangered. The three main language families in Europe are German, Slavic, and Romance languages. The rich indigenous linguistic diversity. There are about 225 indigenous languages in Europe, roughly 3% of the world's total. So European Languages Day, it honors diversity. It promotes learning and education, and learning languages is beneficial, offers cognitive benefits to both the young and old. It improves memory, problem solving skills, and creativity. And with this, we shall conclude this commemoration. Today is also Better Breakfast Day in US. So eating a healthy breakfast has never been so important, but we are in a nation on the go. 9 to 5 has become 7 to 6 or even worse. So hours like that require serious nutrition planning. Skipping breakfast might have worked back in your parents' day, but rushing out to the door with a quickie gulp of carrot or orange juice or just doesn't cut in 2019. That's why uh, today is also Alpaca Day in United States. Alpaca is an observed, alpacas are cute, fuzzy animals that have been of help of human beings in agriculture for a significant time. These animals have unique personalities, are highly sensitive to their environments, and are most timid in temperament. Alpaca Day raises awareness about the need for the conservation of alpacas and their habitats. Human activities have affected alpacas, and they, like other animals, they too are struggling with the increasing human interference in their daily lives. Alpacas are native to South America and part of camelid family. They have been domesticated for more than 9,000 years and have proven their use as animals of burden and agriculture. Their soft padded feet do not damage pastures, and lack of front teeth makes them excellent grazers. In 2014, the Alpaca Owners Association founded Alpaca Day to educate people about alpacas and their roles in our daily lives. Alpacas, can be very good pets if they are treated well and the owners are elastic and flexible in their expectations. And they have a weird habit, they might occasionally spit at a human. However, spitting is mostly reserved for other alpacas, generally not on humans, but yes. And you cannot ride an alpaca, though it belongs to the camelid family. An alpaca's bone structure is not designed for heavy loads. And alpacas are also known for the good quality wool. Outfits made of alpaca wool are also warmer and softer. The absence of lanolin in the wool prevents elections. Knit a pullover or a scarf with alpaca. Uh, And almost all alpacas have been domesticated. So there are no wild alpacas. And there are two kinds of alpacas, that is Huyakaya and the Suri. Alpacas never attack. They are not likely to attack humans unless you have been or they have been threatened. And mother alpacas go through long labor. It takes up to 7 hours to birth an alpaca calf, and they relatively live long up to 20 years. And they have been our friends for thousands of years. They helped us grazing our fields, carrying our loads, and providing us with wool. Alpaca Day celebrates the first friendship we have and we share with these alpacas. They are also good for the environment and helped in looking after agricultural lands without destroying the harvest. Alpaca Day is a way of saying thanks to these helpful creatures. And the aim of Alpaca Day is also to conserve alpacas and wildlife. They are focused to conserve forests, grasslands, and other animals and plants. They are dependent on alpacas. Today is also World Day of Migrants and Refugees. It is also designated yearly by the United Nations to commemorate and honor people who have been forced to flee homes, people who have escaped conflict, seen adversity, and against all odds forged their way to find greener pastures in places far away from their homes. This day has been designated to recognize the courage and fortitude of these people and heighten our level of empathy and understanding for the plight and difficult decisions many immigrants have had to make. The activities carried out on this day are to support and create opportunities for immigrants and refugees. And today is also a day dedicated to expressing concern to many who face challenges related to immigration, and is also a day to recognize our foreign brothers and sisters' journeys and shine a light on their stories, whichever we can. Today is also the Shamu, the Whale Day, also known as National Shamu, the Whale Day, celebrates the heroics and splendor of remarkable orcas. The original Shamu was honored in the late 1960s. The same name has been passed down many generations through the SeaWorld shows and since become a day to appreciate the world of orcas. Today is also Situational Awareness Day, National Situational Awareness Day in the US. Uh, it helps create more awareness about the importance of personal safety. Since we all are responsible for our personal safety, most of the time it is important to be reminded of general safety tips. National Situational Awareness Day was created for this purpose. National Situational Awareness Day was approved and September 26 was chosen as a holiday submitted for the consideration in a year prior by Pretty Loaded, an enterprise that is concerned with training individuals and groups to be more mindful of their surroundings. The term situational awareness denotes an exercise that has been described in several military texts. The concept is said to be portrayed in Sun Tzu's The Art of War. Also, during the First World War, the practice seemed to be adopted, especially by pilots. Situational awareness has helped many stay alive in very dangerous situations. It also teaches many people to avoid potentially dangerous situations like walking alone in the dark alley. Countless films now offer lessons in situational awareness, especially on National Situational Awareness Day. Organizations and institutions have also helped their employees get necessary training that would help them to be more mindful of their surroundings. So, National Situational Awareness Day is observed to acknowledge the importance of situational awareness and also encourage more people to learn basic survival tips for their own personal. Today we have various other commemorations like National Pancake Day and National Dumpling Day. And National Chimichanga Day. Today is also Maharaja Agrasen Day. It devotes honoring their respected king, especially by the Vaishya community. Uh, the Maharaja Agrasen, who believed in non-discrimination and equality, his descendants involved themselves in social welfare activities to follow in his footsteps and spread the messages of brotherhood and equality. They organized free medical camps and food distribution events and cultural functions, and programs are held in several places. And this day is celebrated by the uh, Agrahari, Agarwal, and Jain communities to commemorate Maharaja Agrasen's birth anniversary. He was the king of Agroha and is said to be the originator of Agrahari and Agarwal. Throughout the communities remember him and try to follow in his footsteps. Today is also National Compliance Officers Day in US. Compliance officers are a very special group tasked with the duty of ensuring an ethical uh, and safe environment for running of business across the country. It is a noble profession that deserves its own day. The compliance profession itself emerged in the early 1990s. Since then, compliance officers have become indispensable to the successful and safe running of a business. Compliance officers are responsible for ensuring that the companies and business obey rules and regulations and requirements imposed on them. The field has since diversified to filter all kinds of films and businesses. In 2016, SAI Global launched National Compliance Officers Day. This was created with the intent of honoring compliance professionals, networking, finally, today is the first day of Sharad Navaratri, which translates to 9 nights. That is, it is an autumn Hindu festival held in the honor of divine feminine, that is Sri Devi. The holistic, and the exact traditions, customs, practices vary from place to place. And in some areas, it is associated with uh, and this day is associated with some with the victory of Durga Puja and Rama's defeat of demon king Ravana. But in each of the theme of divine victory of good over evil features prominently. So there is also a Mysore Dasra, Royal Dasra possession. The main attraction is the idol of goddess Chamundeshwari, placed on the gold mandapa and weighs around 750 kg. And she moves in a grand procession with dancers, musicians, floats, and elephants. And the spectacular Mysore palace becomes even more beautiful as it is lit up during Dasra. And musical performances, dances, handicrafts, jewelry, and many more. There is a lot to discover and places to shop in Mysore during 10-day festival. So with this, we shall conclude. And this combination of Navaratri every day, feminine divine is worshipped like goddess Saraswati, goddess Mahalakshmi, goddess Durga Devi, goddess Chamundeshwari, like this different feminine goddesses were celebrated every day, and every day has some certain significance of color, ritual, the kind of feast they prepare. So with this, we shall conclude these commemorations for the day. And if you have any queries, you can raise your hand or you can use chat box. Though we can talk about so many things, but time, it will take more time. Okay, quickly fill up the, if there are no queries or anything, then kindly fill up the polls. It is mandatory. Feedback form has been raised in the form of polls within the Zoom platform. Dear friends, quickly fill up the feedback form launched in the form of polls. And fill the form completely. Don't leave any fields empty. Dear friends, quickly fill up the feedback form raised in the form of polls. We have 5 minutes to complete the feedback form. Dear friends, quickly fill up the feedback form raised in the form of polls. We'll be concluding and closing the form in next 2-3 minutes, and also we'll be ending the meeting for the day. Thank you everyone for joining us for today's session. So see you all tomorrow at the same time. Take care. Good night. Before leaving, kindly fill up the feedback form. It is mandatory for generating certificate, and after specified time, you can download your certificates from the website. All the instructions are provided on the website. Hope everyone has filled the feedback form. So see you all tomorrow. Take care. Good night.